You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Colonel Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Colonel Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
What's good? What's good? What's good? Grand Rising, kings and queens, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. What's going on? It's been a minute. A lot of things happening since I was gone. A lot of things happening. Yesterday I was on, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I was on the Scorekeepers. And I just wanted to make a couple of things clear. I was saying that Sure Shot was Bally, and I said that yeah, that's what I said. I said Sure Shot was Bally, and Sure Shot's not Bally, it's Dwayne. So I just wanted to clear that up because we were in the chat yesterday talking about these trolls. And but I just had to clear that up. I had to clear that up because what we've been doing lately is we're getting rid of these guys because a lot of these people, these trolls, these agents are they're putting up false information. They're lying. They're trying their best not to let the truth come out, and they're hating hard. But we found out yesterday that some of these trolls are really mentally disturbed, and so we got to be really careful with these mental disturbed people because we don't want them to hurt themselves. We're not worried about us. We're worried about them hurting themselves because they get so emotional when we call them out and we expose them. So that's one of the things that I wanted to start off with. So we've been having a great time. I did a couple of things. I was in DC. I started listening to, well, not started. I did some things, and Trouble Funk and Chuck Brown band performed, and wow, it was incredible. Like, they stayed in the pocket the whole time, the whole performance, and I was very impressed with that. I was very, very impressed with that. So that's one of the things that I wanted to start off with as well. Another thing that I wanted to start off with as well, it's getting close. it is really getting close. Here, let me throw a couple of them up. Okay, so this year, it's really gonna be really nice this year. We're dedicating, first and foremost, we always do the tribute to Disco King Mario, without a doubt. But we're also paying tribute to James Brown and the Ohio Players. So that's going to be incredible. Like, we're bringing the funk back to hip hop. We had lost the funk in hip hop for a while. So we're actually bringing the funk back to hip hop. That's definitely one of the things that our goal is this year. So as you can see, these are some of the flyers that are going out. So what I need you guys to do also is start sharing the events, and start sharing the lives, so that we can definitely start making some definite moves. Because as we're opening up a lot of sources and a lot of channels, we are realizing that we're basically at war. We're basically at war with the people that monetize the lie. So you guys are asking me, well, what is the lie? What is the lie? Well, the source is the lie when it said that Grandmaster Flash, Cool Herc, and Bambaataa were the fathers of hip hop, the creators of hip hop. And we all know that that is so untrue. That's so untrue. And we all know that if that lie continues to go on, then the generations after us and after, them and everything will continue to cultivate the lie. That's the best way I could put it. And so that lie will go on, and then imagine the real originators of this culture, of this genre, of this thing called hip hop. So we're straightening it out. We're straightening it out, and as we straighten it out, we're finding at the the pushback that we're getting is not necessarily from who we thought it was. We're finding out that it's a little bit deeper than what we thought. We thought, it was just a group of people, but it's not. It's a little bit more deeper than that. And so what we're doing is we're digging deep. First shout out. Let me shout out my people. First is Riri. Definitely, we got a nothing but love for her. I see China Black is in the building. I see Gold Stars in the building. Who else do I see right here? I see a couple of us. I guess I should have waited a little bit longer to let some people in before I started. But like I said, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep a lot of my lives to an hour. So if you don't see it at the time that it's set live, then of course you can go back to it. But so what I've been noticing a lot is that these trolls that are actually saying these things and being obsessed with doing it is because the lie is what they know. And a lot of these trolls, we're finding out they were probably, nerds as in their younger age, and they had no way to be a part of the cool kids. So what they do now is they hide behind the internet and they put up fake names and they have several accounts, and never put their picture up, and then they're tough guys. They're tough when it comes behind the internet, when they're hiding and they feel like they're untouchable behind the internet. They become tough guys, and they say these things and everything. But we're finding out that that's all they are, is internet tough guys, because they're usually punks, they're usually cowards, they're usually people that never were in the hip hop conversation. And so this is the only way they can be in the hip hop conversation. So that's one of the things that we've done. Peace out to Scorekeepers, Mighty Hebrew, Truth Savior, Akeem, Bustetto. A lot of these people and these channels are actually bringing forth the truth and bringing it to the light. So I just wanted to say that one thing about what's going on. Another thing that I wanted to say as well, um, is about how it's structured. This whole hip hop thing is structured. So a lot of people ask me, "What phase? What are you talking about? How it's structured?" Well, we have it in layers. Well, they have it in layers, because it's not what we planned. It's not what we created. When I say they have it in layers, is that they have it basically, so some people think it's culture, some people think it's a dance, some people think that it's just a genre, you know. So I'm trying to decipher what I consider hip hop. And a lot of people take it as, when I'm talking about, the people that came after the creation, that I don't consider them hip hop, which I think what I'm basically really trying to say is this: that, take for instance, breakdancing, okay, because that's what the topic that we're talking about today. So, should breakdancing still be called breakdancing if they're not breakdancing? Because obviously, what it had, I guess it got taken over, is not breakdancing. It's not. And I wouldn't even call it dancing. I would call it acrobats. If you really want to, if you ask me, I would call it acrobats, because what they're doing has absolutely nothing to do with dance. It has nothing to do with the music. It has nothing to do with the break. So why should it be still called breakdancing? That's really one of the things that I thought about. Okay, so now I'm going to call out names. This now, before I was trying not to call out names and everything, but I'm going to call out names. Crazy Legs. When I look at the videos of Crazy Legs, and I look at the interviews that Crazy Legs has put out, or they were interviewed, and I've noticed something. I've noticed that no matter what you see him in, whatever, any video you see him or interview that you see him in, and they play clips, that no matter how you slice it, no matter how you do, that what he's doing has absolutely nothing to do with the music. And it has nothing to do with um basically, I'm just going to keep it real, hip hop. Because if we call hip hop the dance, then there's no dancing. There's flips, and I want you guys to actually go back and look at the videos with Crazy Legs and the crews. So you ask me, you say, well, FaZe, where is the difference? What is the difference? So the difference is this. When we created breakdancing, we created it to the break beat, right? We created it to the break beat. The actual drums, that's what we created the break beat, the dance, the break dancing too. And so far, when we look at that, when we look at what they're doing, when we look at what they were supposed to be doing, and we look at what they are doing, it's totally different from what we were doing. So I'm throwing up these pictures because even at this age, even at the older age, when we throw a jam and we go into what we call the hip hop, we still have that foundation. We still have the commitment to breakdancing as to the music. We have the breakdancing to the music. On Scoreboard Keepers yesterday, I talked about my record collection and what age I was when I started collecting records. And that's a big part of what breakdancing is about. It's about dancing to the drum beat and coordinating your hands and your feet and your head gestures and your body to each beat that you're listening to and what you're trying to get out. So one of the things that I realize when I'm watching these videos is that they do not connect to the music at all. They do not connect to the music. If you look at them and you see what they're doing, all they're doing is doing flips. They're spinning on their heads. They're spinning on their backs, and with no timing, no rhythm, no nothing. It's just these moves. So I really started digging in and trying to understand, well, when did this change happen? Okay, well, it was the beginning of, I hate to say it, but when Puerto Ricans were let into what we call hip hop, that's when it changed. That's when the soul of us was removed from the dance. That's the only best way I can put it. That's when the soul of us was removed from the dance. So you ask me, what is the soul of us? The soul of us is what connects our frequency to the music. That's what connects our tones, our motion, our beat, our heartbeat to the music. It's our souls connecting to this music. And so, realizing that this is what happened is because I've noticed, and I want you guys to actually go and look and see what I'm talking about as far as the movement to the music. What I should have did, I should have, but I didn't do it because I'm only staying on here for an hour. So I want to get through a couple of things. Okay, so look. This is Black Willie. This is right before he passed. He came to see me DJ, and right before he passed, because this is where we got burning from. This is where we, Little Rascals, Baby Spades, got burning from. And the reason why I bring up Black Willie, rest his soul, is because in those times that we were doing what we were doing, and we were, Baby Spades and stuff, these were our mentors, they are our elders, our teachers, basically. And there's a video which I will play next for the next part two of him dancing at an older age. And one thing that I can definitely say is that if you put this record on for these dancers, the new dancers, the Puerto Rican dancers, the crews, the Rocksteady crew, and or whatever, and you put the break on, and you continuously play just the break, and you watch them dance, you'll see they can't dance. They cannot dance. They cannot connect to this rhythm. They can't connect to this beat. And so that's why I asked. That was the question that I asked. I said, well, if you're not dancing to the break, why are you calling it break dancing? Just keep it real. So, and I'm going to go to the comments also, and I'm going to ask, okay, if you're not dancing to the break beats, if you're not dancing to the break beats, why are you calling it break dance? Why? What is the connection to break dance if it's not dancing to the break beat? And I don't understand that. So my question is, okay, look at Wild Style. Look at Beat Street. And look at what they call breakdancing. And then listen to the music that they're actually supposed to be breakdancing to, and watch the movement of what they're doing. Watch what they're doing. Watch the spins. Watch the movement. Watch the head gestures. Watch the breakdown. But watch all of that, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You'll see that there's no such thing as breaking to the music and dancing to it. There's no such thing as that for these people that consider it breakdancing. And so my thing is this. This is where I have a problem. So if we create just anything, like if we created um the Dougie, right? And the Dougie is a dance. Can someone else come and do a different dance and call it the Dougie? No, no, it can't. So why should we have to say they came and created their version, a new dance or a new whatever they want to call it, and still call it breakdancing? I don't understand that. And so please, someone, please explain to me why we should let that happen. And so now we go back and we think about all the people that actually said that what they were doing were breakdancing, right? And we look at some of the usual suspects. And when you ask them, okay, so what makes it breakdance? What makes it breakdance? I have yet got that answer. If they're doing something to just any music, and then I also saw, and I know people are going to get mad at this as well. I saw the up rock and down rock and side rock or whatever, and I noticed that that too has nothing to do with the break. It has nothing to do with the music. It has nothing to do with the coordination of the drum to their movements. So the bottom line is what I've been saying is that there's no such thing as breakdancing anymore. So why do they continue to call it breakdancing? I'll never know that. See, this is the go-to record, Cold Sweat. And the reason why this is the go-to record, because this is the actual record that created our versions of breakdance. This is the record. And so you say to me, you say, well, how was this being done? Well, I'll tell you this much. It wasn't being done by Kool Herc. It was not being done by Kool Herc. Kool Herc could never catch Cold Sweat. And when I say catch it, meaning that the beginning of the break to the ending of the break to the beginning of the break to the ending of the break and all in between. Kool Herc could never, ever, 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 ever catch Cold Sweat. Never. I'll tell him to his face. You guys can run and tell him that if the face said it, I don't care. He never, ever could have caught Cold Sweat. So why, if we know that this is the start of what breakdancing was, why would we say that this is, that breakdancing and hip hop started, and at this party, and that Cool Herc is Akeem, peace. JG, peace. What's good? What's good? Akeem says I'm still gonna do a video on it. Yes, 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 Akeem. And I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. Because see, Akeem, this is my problem. This is my problem. That's the only thing that they're claiming to have that is the creation of hip hop, is for the Puerto Ricans, is breakdancing. Because every single time that I ask those questions, I ask, okay, so let's go to the three things. The three things are the music, DJing, the lyric, MCing, the dancing, and those three things in combination are what hip hop is, right? So we know that there's nothing about Spanish music that created hip hop. We know that. There's no we know that. Everybody knows that. We know that none of the lyrics, none of the lyric comes from Spanish culture, none of the slang, none of the things that we were said, none of the snaps, none of the any of that comes. And we also know that none of their dance, none of the breakdancing comes, or any of our dance comes from the Spanish culture. We know that. And so now that we know that, and we have placed that in the realm of knowledge, why do we have to even go through the part where they say that's their contribution, or they say they took it and went a different direction with it, or they brought it to different places, they evolve it, whatever. All of that would be cool if they made it a better dance, but that's not what they did. They didn't make it a better dance. They just destroyed it. If you ask me, they destroyed it. They destroyed the whole method of taking a break beat like Cold Sweat and dancing to it, and creating a dance to the actual beat. That's it. That's it. There's no other way to slice it. Like, there's no other way to put it. There's no other way to say that that's what it is. So people always ask me, they say, well, FaZe, listen, why does it seem like you're always getting on the Puerto Ricans? Why does it seem like you're getting on the Puerto Ricans all the time? And I'll say this. Who claims to have took break dancing to the next level? Who? Who else claimed that? That's number one. Now, also, looking at the research and looking at things, I've noticed Chinese. And one thing that was said that made a lot of sense is that Chinese have always been good did good acrobats. They've always done that. So for them to do acrobats, that's fine. But just like the Puerto Ricans, what does that have to do with break dancing? What does it have to do with doing acrobats? What does that have to do with breakdancing? What does it have to do with it? And then I say to myself, absolutely nothing. So Chinese, Puerto Ricans, everybody else can take our creation and do it differently, create whatever they want to do, but keep our name. And we're just standing there, not saying nothing. And some of us are agreeing and saying, yeah, that's breakdancing. Now, my problem is this. So if some of us, some younger people or some of us that don't even know what true breakdancing is, they'll take that and run with it. And look at the people that are getting money for what was not even what we created. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to actually talk about, right? Okay. James Brown released Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud in 1968, right? And when he released this record, right? It was at the, I guess, the peak of this civil thing that was going on all over. And one of the things that I could definitely remember at this time was that each group that were trying to, I guess not trying, but were a part of what would have been a revolution, had their own, I guess, style. That's the only way I could put it. It had its own style. And one of the things that was the style was the way we interpreted music. Because people always ask me, well, you know, a lot of these things were always in existence. You know, a lot of soul music was in existence. A lot of, you know, funky music was in existence. Yes, I agree with you on that. But the thing that made it different for us was that we were concentrating on the drum. We were concentrating on the drum. And to us, the master was Clyde, James Brown's drummer. And for us, that break is what influenced us to dance the way that we danced. The break part of it. So going back to Cold Sweat, that break part of this beat was what breakdancing is. It's called breakdancing. So if you have a record, regular record, and the record just plays out, and you're dancing to it, okay, that's fine. But then you should know that you can't break dance to that record because it doesn't have a break. You get me? Are you following me so far? If the record that you're dancing to doesn't have a breakdown, doesn't stop and solo the drums, then it's not a break record. It's not a break record. Period. So how can you dance? How can you break dance to this record if it's not a breakdown? If it's not a break record? That's simple. Okay, so now let's go to where you would hear, when you would hear these records, these break records, and who was doing it. So one of the things that was said on Scoreboard Keeper's show yesterday was that Soul Train was a part of the beginning of hip hop. And I had to disagree. I had to. Because number one thing about Soul Train, and you can look it up yourself, is when Don Cornelius first released Soul Train, he was not into hip hop at all. I'm gonna just keep it 100. He himself did not like hip hop. And the first Soul Train was from Chicago, and then it moved to LA. So when Soul Train was released, Chicago had no hip hop. So people then asked me, well, what was the difference between what was considered hip hop if James Brown had Cold Sweat and Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud in 68? What was the difference of what created hip hop? Well, number one thing is that a lot of people heard Cold Sweat, and a lot of people knew what Cold Sweat was, but they only heard it from either the radio or someone bought it. So let's look at that. Okay. Oops, went to the wrong one because I'm getting ready to show y'all something. Okay, WBLS broadcasting in New York City in 1972. The original signed on as WLIB on 107.5 frequency in September 1965, before officially renamed and moved to FM station 107.5. So WLIB played soul music, touch of jazz music, and older soul music. So for us, because when at WLIB was on the radio, it was AM 1600. Okay. And so we listen to that, of course, but it didn't play a lot of things, meaning like if it played an album, sometimes it would get all the way almost to the break and fade out, or sometimes skip the break because it was supposed to be, just a listening, broadcast station. So the break is usually after the break. Most of the time, sometimes it goes into instrumental. It just plays out the rest of the record. So for us, we're not finding the records that have this break from WLIB. We're not finding these records because a lot of break records are not soul music. A lot of break records are jazz, or rock, or country, or gospel, or these are these records that were a lot of the break records you wouldn't hear on your radio station, which are only at that time at 1965 and 1972, we only had one radio station in New York that was for us. We only had one. There was no other radio station for us in 1965 and 1972. So let's get that straight. Because people are saying, oh, well, the radio said no, 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 no. We only had the WLIB, and then it changed to WBLS. So let's keep it real. So that's where we were getting our, funky soul records and stuff like that. But we went a little bit further and started collecting the records that we wanted to play with just this break. Now, I know you're asking me, you're saying, well, okay, that's cool, but did Spanish people have a radio station, and what did they play? Because remember, we're talking about how Spanish people say they were a part of the creation of hip hop. So we were listening to soul music, which James Brown would play on the radio, Rufus Thomas would play on the radio, Isaac Hayes would play on the radio. All of these Jackson 5 would play on the radio, Silvers would play on the radio and stuff. All of these soul records and a lot of them had breaks on them. So that's what we were listening to. So I said, okay, so what were they listening to? And I saw it. I said, during 1970 and 71, the landscape of Spanish language broadcasting in New York City expanded, notably the two prominent stations that premiered full-time of significant Spanish music and cultural programming was WJIT 1480 and WADO, which were AM stations. Now, this is the big question. How many people could actually listen to these AM stations? If you remember back then, you had to have an antenna. That's number one. And it was a very weak signal, very weak signal. Very weak signal. So a lot of people had transistor radios and these pocket radios to listen to their radio station. That's just how it was. Now, the one thing for us, and I'm talking about the creators, I never in my life heard WJIT or WADO. Never. If we're skipping through the channels, because look, number one, we were 1600, right? So that's all the way up the station. 1480 and 1280 is down the station. So we would never start at 1480. We're going to start at 1500 and above because we're looking for 1600. That's number one, when it was AM. But then, like I said, in 1972, BLS went to 107.5, which is FM. Okay? FM. But that was totally different than AM, just to let you know. So I bring that back to say that there was nothing about a Spanish radio station that we could have listened to this Spanish music. There's nothing. There's like we could not have done it. So remember, before I told you guys, I said that the things that we did was we would get from our parents' collection and the records that we bought, the records that we heard on the radio or we found or whatever, and we were using that, and that's what created hip hop. And so now listening to those breaks and everything, right? There was no such thing as playing a Spanish record for a break. There was just no such thing, especially for us, because we had no idea of it. So when I ask all the time, well, what was the contribution that Spanish people contributed to breakdancing? I ask that question all the time. What's up, Tyreek? Peace. I ask that question and it's never ever answered. It's never ever answered. And then when they do answer or say something, they say that they took breakdancing and took it all over the world. So I asked, well, show me what this breakdancing is that you took over the world. And I've yet seen it. I have yet to see any of them breakdance. I have not seen it. If you guys have seen it, please put a one in the comments. Put a one in the comments if you've seen the Puerto Ricans breakdance, because I want to find out who's with me right now. I have never, ever, ever saw a Puerto Rican breakdance. I've seen them do acrobatics. I've seen them do flips. I've seen them spin on his head, spin on the backs, but I've never saw them break dance. And that's just it. That's just it. That's just something that it just oh, man. And so people get mad at me. Here, let me go to some of the comments. Black Americans created almost every genre of music: soul, funk, jazz, hip hop, gospel, list goes on. And you're correct. You're correct. You're correct. But you left out a whole bunch. You left out a lot. I see you got rock and roll, country, and the list goes on. Yes, you're 100% correct. And so why this whole conversation comes is because why should we let anyone take our creation name, and change and leave it when they're doing something different? If I have an ice cream cone, a chocolate ice cream cone, and that's what it is, a chocolate ice cream cone, and then I have a Cucha Frito in my left hand, and I say that the Cucha Frito is the chocolate ice cream cone, you guys would look at me like I'm the stupidest, dumbest idiot in the world. I would say it to myself. But yet and still, you see a people take what we call breakdancing, change it up, change it, and say it's breakdancing. So I just had to do that. I had to, and I want you guys to really do some researching on your own. And I want you guys to actually look and see exactly what I'm talking about. I want you guys to actually research and see what I'm talking about, because see, this is the whole thing. We're losing everything. We lost our land. We lost our rights. We lost everything. And we're fighting to get it back. Why do we have to fight to get back what's ours? Why do we have to fight to get back what's ours? We have to fight for reparations. We have to fight for good food. They took away our farms. Look how much it costs to get a plate of healthy, good food for us now. Just a plate. Look what's happening in the law. Look how a Chinese man could get away with killing one of our children, but our children get put away for 38 years for defending themselves against two. And what we're doing is we're nothing. We don't fight. We don't do anything. Look at the situation that happened at the Walmart, where they shot into the car and killed a 1-year-old. And people, I know you guys are saying to yourself, okay, yeah, well, this is whatever. But where does it stop? Where does it stop, people? What can we have that is not taken away from us? And then people say, like, okay, yeah, that's, well, what can we do? Well, what can we do? One thing we could do is not let them take breakdancing. Because if we can stand up for breakdancing, we can stand up for anything. If we know we created breakdancing, we know we created it. We know this is our generation. This is our time. This is us. We know we created it. So we can't stand up and say, no, you're not taking breakdancing. And then the next thing we'll say, no, you're not taking our land. No, you're not taking our rights away. No, you're not taking our money. No. Gotta start somewhere. And I saw something on the other day. I saw something, and it was very interesting. There was a lady, Friedman, FBA, and she said that there's, I forget how many billion of us that are here. If we took $10, and every month we contribute that $10 in our account, we could buy our land back. We could buy our government. We could buy. And then we wouldn't have to worry about this. Because you know why? Because we would have to govern ourselves. We would have to feed ourselves. We would have to medicate ourselves. We would have to, and It can happen. But you know what stops us? We stop each other. We can't even get them from stealing breakdancing. We can't even stop them from stealing breakdancing because it's you. No matter how you slice it, you guys can say all you want to. Oh, well, they just made it better. They just made it do this. Oh, they took it around the world. Oh, it was in the Olympics. Oh, this. And you know what that is? That's the Uncle Tom mentality that some of us have. And it's a shame. It's a shame, people. Oh, God. It's not funny. It really isn't. Anyway, okay, so listen, I said I was going to stay an hour, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Everybody, I'm still going to do the video. Okay. Been there for a minute. Okay. Look at Tariq. Okay, peace. Right? Yes, JG. Yes. Okay. Yes, they was gonna doing what FBA was doing and put their twist on it. No, they were not. Sorry, Gold Star. Sorry, Gold Star. No, they were not. They were never, ever, ever, ever doing what we were doing. Never. I'm sorry, but they will never show me. Show me one clip of them doing what we were doing. Show me one clip. See, Gold Star, this is the problem. And I'm telling you, this is the problem. Because they didn't do anything that we were doing. We wasn't spinning on our heads. We wasn't spinning on our backs. We wasn't doing that. We was not doing that. And everything that we did to the break. So show me what twist they did from what we were doing. Gold Star, now, I'm seeing, I'm not trying to come off on you or whatever, but I'm seeing exactly what happens. If you were a break dancer, if you were, I don't know how old you are or whatever, but if you were a break dancer, you waited for the break to do your thing. That's what you waited for. You waited for Cold Sweat to break down and do the break. And that's when you went to the floor or you did whatever you was going to do. Simple. Show me Gold Star where, because it says they was doing what FBA was doing and put their twist on it. Show me that. Come on, people. Come on, people. Come on, people. Don't let me do this by myself. Don't let me do this by myself because I will. I'll do it by myself. Okay? Come on, people. Come on, people. Okay, let's see what this says. You were saying how Puerto Ricans got acrobats from Asians. I was watching a video where Choke No Joke called Wu-Tang Culture vultures, saying they was copying Asians. Uh, see, this is where, oh my God. You're not gonna pull me past an hour. You're not gonna pull. Maybe a part two, I'll address that. I'll address that. Um, I'll address that. Oh man. I'll address that. I'll address that tomorrow because it's too much. It's too much, and I just, oh man. Mm-mm. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Gold Star. I'm sorry to hear that. If that was your people, I'm sorry to hear that. But I'm gonna wait for you to send me something or show me something of them doing what we were doing. I don't think he was talking about the rhyming part. Okay. Oh my God. We have to get back. We have to get back to practicing self-government. Yes. Yes. Yes, we do. So this will be a great direction to go in. Because, okay, so look at it. Look, and this is how I feel about it. I feel like our generation, my generation, the creators of hip hop, have that. Other people have this civil rights things, other people have this, the Black Panthers, whatever. Our generation is Black Spades. And everything that we created within the Black Spades should be ours. It should be ours. So why do we have to sit back and let them take it? Nah, sorry. Sorry. Scoreboards keepers will be live in an hour. Cool. Cool. I'll be there. I'll be there. Cool. I'll be there. But that's it. I'm whew, that's it. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna. I'll do a part two tomorrow. You guys already know. Um, Riri, please change phase tracks to put a capital P on there, please. Um, okay. Okay, that's it. That's it. You guys, like I said, you see, start making your way and start sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Start sharing the flyers for July 25th, people. Start sharing because this is going to be a stove cold. It's going to be crazy. A lot of people already telling me that they're flying in and they're coming from LA, they're coming from DC, they're coming from Atlanta, they come from South Carolina, all over Vegas, they're coming from. So it's going to be really, really great. Um, if you're a vendor and you are vending something for us, meaning that Friedman and FBA, if you're vending that, then you have to get in contact with us to vend. because to be honest with you, if you come with a table and you didn't notify us or whatever, we're gonna kick you off, and that's just straight up. We're not playing games. We're not thinking about like it's gonna be sweet like that. No, it's not. So if you come with your table and you didn't notify us or whatever, then you know that you're gonna leave. You're gonna leave, and you're not gonna sell not one thing, not one item. And if you do sell, well, I'm not even gonna say that, but anyway, that's what's gonna happen. So, guys, I will be back tomorrow, part two, because I have to address a couple of things. I have to address a couple of things because we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're not going to let them take breakdancing. And if we have people, us, that are saying that they put a twist on it, or they took what we were doing and put their twist on it, that's not going to work either. That's not going to work. Okay? It's not going to work. And if that was the case, then look, we can't call anything ours. Okay? We did a twist, and we changed from just burning to burning and breakdancing. That's what we did. That was our twist. And it got better. So I'm not. So I'll come back tomorrow. Guys, I love you guys, man. And I'll come back tomorrow. All right? Peace.
Colonel Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!